I know you got to meet Bob Dylan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me that story, or do you not want to tell it?
Sure.
You can?
Yeah. Yeah, so we were on tour with Willie and Bob. And
This is one of my favorite stories, dude.
yeah. And, you know, I don't take this for granted, you know. I remember when the thing first came to me, the offer, it was kind of put to me in a way that was like, okay, well, we could go do our own tour and like probably make a lot more money, or we could go on this tour as an opener, but we're going to be able to, you know, go tour with Bob Dylan and Willie. And it's like, dude, we're going with Bob and Willie. Are you kidding me? Of course. And so every night we played with them, me and the band would like finish our set. We would hurry up and go back to the green room, like, you know, have a snack or whatever, and then like get right back out there, get our good seats, sometimes just on the side of the stage, and watch Bob Dylan play, and then watch Willie play, you know? And so it was just, every night was just like, we watched them intently every night because like I said, we do not take this for granted. So actually, I need to rewind a bit to tell you the story about Bob Dylan. Somebody had told me, T-Bone Burnett actually told me.
He lives in Nashville.
Yeah.
He's friends with Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I love Jeff.
Dude, and Crazy Heart.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. But so T-Bone's like, hey man, Bob Dylan's like a big fan of yours. He keeps bringing you up and stuff. And I'm like, what? You know, that's crazy. And then my manager says that one of Bob's people, one of his managers or something, kind of just told my manager, Bill, the best way to get a hold of Bob is to write him a letter. He likes letters. So I was going to write him a letter. And I remember I was staying at St. Cecilia in Austin. And I walked in the room and they had this really great paper there, like this stock paper. And I thought, well, this will be cool because it's from like a hip hotel and it's nice paper. I'm going to take this paper. This is what I'm going to write my letter to Bob Dylan on. And then I never did. A whole year passed. I procrastinated. And then the next year passed. We're doing Austin City Limits or something. I was in Austin again, and I stayed at the St. Cecilia again. And I walked in that same room I stayed in last time, and I saw that paper again a year later. And I go, man, screw this. And I just set my backpack down in my luggage. I grabbed that paper, and I went straight up to the cafe, and I had a coffee and some eggs, and I sat there and wrote Bob Dylan a letter, just basically, you know, saying thank you and just thank you, you know, and telling him about how I, you know, loved the way Doc Watson used to play his songs and stuff. And so after that, you know, I had heard that Bob was excited about this letter that he got from me and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, that's, you know, I don't know what to believe, right? And we get on that tour. We play like a couple gigs, and we're opening for Bob. And then one night after our set, before Bob goes on stage, well, that was when I sat in. Actually, the first time I met him was at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was standing backstage after his set. And my security guy, Jim, was like, here, stand over here. And I just thought like I was in the way, like they were going to move some road cases or something. But no, Bob was coming off stage in this huge North Face parka. And right as he was walking by, somebody was like, hey, that was a great set, Billy. And he stopped in his tracks and he was like, Billy. And he walked right up to me and he was like, man, thank you for the letter. And I was like, man, thank you, Bob, for the music, you know?
Yeah.
And he shook my hand.
Oh, yeah.
And
with his hand.
Yeah, with Bob Dylan's hand. He shook my hand. And
yeah,
my hand is like tingling right now just talking about it. Every time I talk about this story, my hand starts tingling. That whole night, it's like vibrating. I shook his hand and I looked him in the eyes and he said, you know, thanks for the letter. And I told him, thank you for the music. And then he walked away.
And did he have a good hand?
It was a nice little hand. And that whole night my hand was just tingly. Like it was like I touched a magic crystal or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And So now every time I tell this story, it does the same thing. But later that night, I was like, it's either like some crazy, beautiful energy, like he's just got this magic, or it's like, some leftover Ben Gay or something is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But then, so like the next night on tour, or a night or two later, we played our set and I'm sitting in the green room, and then I was like smoking a bowl or something, and this lady walked in and she's like, Bob wants you to play with him tonight. No. And I was like, what? And she's like, are you too stoned? And I was like, no, I'm not stoned enough, So I'm like, okay, fuck you guys, it's happening. Bob asked me to sit in. So I'm like walking out to my bus because I know his band, they all wear black and stuff. So I was like, I got a black shirt. I can put my hair in a ponytail, get a little bit more classy.
Blacken up a little. Let me darken out.
Yeah, to get a little bit more classy than whatever t-shirt I had on.
Right.
I'm fixing to play with Bob Dylan. I want to go put a nice shirt on.
Yeah.
And pull my hair back.
Oh,
and as I was walking out to the bus, I saw him. He was walking right toward me. And he just came up to me and he said, let's do All Along the Watchtower. He's like, just, I'll sing the first verse and second verse and you play after the second verse. And then he walked away. Like, he didn't say hi. He didn't say thanks for playing or nothing. He said, let's do the Watchtower, play after the second verse.
Just information and
step. Then on his way to the stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my, man, this guy means business.
Yeah.
So I went to my bus. I got my nice digs on.
Type shit.
And then I was, texting my mom and dad. And, I called my mom. I was like, you're not going to believe this.
What did she say?
She was always over the moon about stuff like that. She called me her dream weaver is what she called. She's like, who are you going to play with next? Because so many of her heroes I had met and played with, Mom, I just met Eddie Vedder, or, Mom, you're not, not going to believe this. I'm David Grisman, or, Del McCurry and all this stuff. And then
Fleetwood Mac.
More recently,
Stevie Nicks.
I've never met her, but
that would be a crazy collab with you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, I was like, I'm getting ready to go play with Bob Dylan. She's like, what the fuck? Like, who are you? Like, who do you think you are? It's like, I don't know. He just asked me to play. So yeah, man.
I'm your son.
So yeah, I go out there and, it was amazing. I mean, we played. The cool thing about that too is that whole tour, that was my favorite song that they were doing. I mean, I love All Along the Watchtower and of course Jimi Hendrix's version, but they had this cool arrangement of it. And it was like such a hip version of it. And that was my favorite tune that they were doing. And that's the one he asked me to play on. It's just like, wow, and so yeah, he sang the second verse, and then he kind of looked over at me and I played. Passed it back to him. We had a little musical conversation, and then that was it, man. I played with Bob Dylan. It was like, holy shit, and I walked off stage, and I go in the green room, and like my whole band is like so excited. They're like making toasts and shit. They're like,
yeah, let's go.
Especially my bass player Royal has like just been on a huge Bob Dylan kick the last couple years. We just couldn't believe this happened, really.
Shout out Royal.
Yeah. So then. We're sitting in the green room and we're all just like, oh my God, that was amazing. And then Jim, my security guy, he comes in and he says, hey, somebody wants to say hi. And in my green room walks Bob Dylan.
Dang.
And he sucked the oxygen out of the room. It was like everybody just like fell silent and like couldn't breathe. And then he was like, man, thanks for playing. Like, that was awesome. And I go, man, thank you for having me, man. I'm such an honor to play with you, And I was like, I want to introduce you to my band. This is Royal and Billy and stuff like that. And then he just like turned around and walked away. Like, I was like, what? No way, dude. And then a couple days
He's
after,
just busy Bob, dude.
Dude, he dipped. He was like, and then just left.
Yeah.
And then and we loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Oh, it's fucking almost, bro. It's even better.
Yeah.
That's the most lore shit you could do.
Dude, he just literally, I was like, I want you to introduce you to my band. And he just turned around and left. It was like, wow.
Yes.
What a badass. And then so
Yes, dude.
a couple nights later, he sent me a message through one of his managers, and it just said, thanks for playing. Like, I think you're great. And he said, like my friend Jerry Lee told me a long time ago, he said, you're going to be around for a long, long time. And I just, I like was in the back of my bus, like reading this and just cried. This is Bob Dylan kind of patting me on the back. And so.
First of all, it's unbelievable, dude. It's such a great story. It's like I can feel it, dude. It's almost like I'm like, yeah, dude.
You want to know one of the craziest things is that the few interactions I had with him, which was like 3 or 4 over the course of a couple days, and I talked to him and I looked at his face and I spoke directly to him and I looked in his eyes. I can't picture his face. I didn't see the skin. When I think about him, what he looked like, all I see is these deep oceans of blue in these deep concerning eyes and this like white light behind them. That's what I picture when I think about what did Bob Dylan look like to me. All I can see is the deepest, bluest eyes with the most concerning emotion in them. And then this like aura of like white light. That's what Bob looks like to me in my memory. I can't remember his face,
right.
Like.
Yeah, like it's almost something that's like, almost like maybe from another realm or something. Like I think God, like God's concern like shows up in our eyes, I think. So maybe he just has a lot of like concern from the other side,
Yeah, and it's not a paranoid concern. It's more of like a compassion and a like a love, like from an elder.
Yeah, maybe like a kind of semi-aggressive intrigue, kind of
like some kind of musical grandpa,
Yeah, dude, Bob Dylan, bro. Wow.